Nothing ever works out for me. Life is always screwing me over. Today is just gonna suck. I have the worst luck in the world. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Well, when's the last time you stopped and paid attention to your thought patterns? And what's the point in even doing that? It's because I bet every day you have a handful of cognitive distortions. So, what are cognitive distortions? These are thought patterns that make you view reality in an unhealthy, negative, and usually inaccurate way. Now, you don't even have to have an anxiety disorder or a depressive disorder to experience these. I bet many of you watching right now have a handful of these every day without even realizing it because they tend to be automatic in nature. But if these cognitive distortions become severe enough and entrenched in your day-to-day life, these can be a risk factor for increased stress, increased anxiety, increased depression, and become an obstacle for you to achieve your life goals. Now, one of the first steps in tackling these cognitive distortions is to be able to identify them. So in today's educational and informational video, we're going to review the most common types of these types of thought patterns. And we're going to have an actor act out scenarios to give you some relatable examples of some of these cognitive distortions. So stay tuned and let's go through them one by one. Number one, fortune telling. Fortune telling is a cognitive distortion where you predict that things will turn out badly based off very little factual evidence, and then you actually start buying into those predictions. Let's check it out.
Look at this schedule. Today's going to suck so bad. I knew it. I don't understand why management treats us like this. Everybody better leave me alone and just stay away from me at this stupid morning mandatory meeting.
Now, this type of distortion can lead to self-fulfilling prophecies, because if you've convinced yourself that today's going to suck, it's very unlikely that you're going to approach the day with an optimistic attitude, and you're not going to be as motivated to do healthy things for yourself, because what's the point? Today's going to suck, right? Now, the way to challenge this is to ask yourself, how do I know that things are going to play out this way? To keep an open mind, an open attitude, and stay neutral, and see how things play out. Hey bro, that mandatory meeting, it was actually a surprise breakfast with free coffee and donuts. Go grab some, man.
Oh, I love free coffee and donuts. That's actually very nice of them. That's a nice way to start the day.
Number two, overgeneralization. This is a distortion where you create a narrative of a perceived negative pattern in your life based off a single isolated event. Now, if you start buying into this pattern, this can create feelings of hopelessness and helplessness and lead to decreased motivation.
What is wrong with this browser? It keeps freezing up on me. Great. Computers and technology, they never work for me, ever. Forget it. I'm never going to get up to speed on this project.
When you make overgeneralizations, ask yourself, is this really true? What do the facts indicate? And remind yourself that one event that occurs in isolation doesn't guarantee that this will recur over and over and over again. Hey, just FYI, bro, sorry, I forgot to tell you. IT said they need to upgrade all of our computers today. Our browsers are out of date and they're kind of glitchy.
Oh.
Number 3 and 4, magnification and all or nothing thinking. First off, magnification is when you tend to focus on your flaws and mistakes and blow them out of proportion. This is similar to the expression of making a mountain out of a molehill. All or nothing thinking is when you see events, things, or people in very absolute black and white terms without seeing the gray in between. This sets up the standards of I'm either perfect or I'm a total failure with no in between. This can be a setup for lowering your self-esteem and making you feel like you could just never measure up.
Ugh, damn it. I just attached the wrong file to the email that we sent out for the meeting. Everyone's going to be so pissed at me. I'm such a screw-up. I should just quit and just change careers.
Now, when it comes to magnification, ask yourself, is this mistake really going to matter a week from now, a month from now, years from now? Am I making too big of a deal? And when it comes to all or nothing thinking, ask yourself, am I being too perfectionistic? Am I setting up impossible standards? Can there be a healthier middle ground or gray area that I can have as a perspective? Number 5, mind reading. Now, with this distortion, you're basically acting like you're a psychic, and you assume you know what someone else is thinking.
I'm getting fired. I knew it. I heard it in his voice.
My personal tip for the distortion of mind reading is, you're not a psychic. To prove this, go play the lotto right now and see if you win. If I'm wrong, worst case scenario is you've become a millionaire and you can make it rain.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Hey Brian, thanks for coming in. I wanted to tell you face to face, you're getting that promotion, man. I just wanted to congratulate you and shake your hand. Well deserved, buddy.
Oh. Wow, thank you.
Number 6, disqualifying the positive. This distortion is where you basically reject positive things about yourself, such as compliments.
Yeah, I only got the promotion because everybody else sucks.
For this distortion, I recommend practicing saying thank you. Practice receiving compliments and some positive feedback. How would you feel if you were genuinely giving thanks or gratitude to someone and they just flat out rejected you? Hey man, congrats on the promotion!
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Number 7, personalization. This is when you blame yourself for something that wasn't completely within your control. When something goes wrong, regardless of who else was involved, what other factors may have played a role, you decide to shoulder the entire blame yourself and take full responsibility. This can lead to a buildup of frustration and resentment because you're essentially shouldering the entire blame on yourself when you may not have been at fault for the whole thing.
Ugh, damn it. If I managed our team better, then our sales would have been better. This wouldn't be happening, and this is all my fault. This company's going down. It's all my fault.
Now, for this distortion, it's often helpful to start off by acknowledging that life is complicated, and that when things go wrong, oftentimes it's not just because of one person and one action. Take accountability for the role you may have played, but don't feel compelled to take responsibility for things that were not within your control and for other people.
Well, it actually looks like it's not just our branch. All 979 branches across the U.S. had lower than expected sales. No wonder why our stock price is down. We gotta try to turn things around at our branch, but I mean, that's all we can control ourselves.
Now that you're more familiar with these distortions, try out this exercise. One morning or one afternoon, try to stay conscious of your thought patterns and see how many of these you can identify. See if you end up being surprised by how many you have or how entrenched they are in your daily habits. Now, the good news is, even if you end up being surprised about how many you have or how entrenched they are in your daily habits, you can basically train yourself to have less of these distortions, be less distressed by them, be less convicted by them, and end up having a healthier mindset and healthier behaviors to end up working towards your life goals. Now, depending on your personal situation, sometimes trying to identify and challenge these cognitive distortions can lead to a temporary increase in stress, anxiety, or even depressed mood. And that makes sense, because think about it. You're basically trying to identify, challenge, and change unhealthy habits or conditioned thought processes that may have been ingrained for weeks, months, or even years. And that can become somewhat unsettling during that process. So again, I would recommend seeking the help and guidance of a trained, qualified mental health professional so you can get personalized recommendations on how it's best to tackle this together with them. Now, it's 10:30 p.m., and I tried to do that exercise myself starting from this morning. And I'll be honest, after 50-something distortions, I basically stopped counting. So it's not even the end of the day. I stopped counting, and I've already counted at least over 50 distortions. That's just to display how automatic and how ingrained some of these thought processes are. And if you're not consciously looking for them, you might not even realize how many you have per day. I want to end this video by simply saying thank you. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for checking out this video. I want to thank you for all of the encouragement, the support, the comments, and the interactions. All of your encouragement is super motivational, and it's keeping me pumped up to keep making these informational and educational videos that I hope you find interesting and entertaining. So be mindful, be healthy, be well. Dr. Andrew Kim, signing off until next time. See you later.
Hey man, the morning meeting was surprise.
Okay. No, that's fine.